Okay, using the numbers 2, 4, 5, 6, 6, find the mean. That's the same as the average. So you add them up and divide by how many numbers. The mode is the most often number. Okay, so you look for repeats. So there's 2 5s. Okay, so that's most often. The median is the number that's in the middle. So that 4 would be the median. Think of the median of a highway. A weighted mean, the weight would be like percent of a grade, like when different things count differently. So you take the percent and change it to a decimal and multiply it by the score for that category. And then you add all those up. So if homework was worth 20%, you change 20% to a decimal and multiply that by 92. Do the same thing for 50% and 30%. Okay, do your multiplications and then add. Okay, what if you have the numbers 3, 5, 8, 12? The range, you take the big number minus the small number. Okay, this little symbol right here is the Greek letter sigma, and it always means to add. Okay, so if you have sigma x, that means to add 3 plus 5 plus 8 plus 12. Okay, now what does x squared mean? It means x times x. Okay, so what are the x squareds? 3 squared is 9, 5 squared is 25, 8 squared is 64, and 12 squared is 144. So if it said sum of x squared, you would add up those 4 numbers that were the squares. Okay, one formula for the variance of a sample is that formula right there, and it's s squared is the variance of a sample. Okay, so we're going to take the numbers that we used before. N is the 4 numbers. We found the sum of x squareds to be 242, and the sum of x was 28. Okay, so sum of x squared is 242 minus, okay, now in this parentheses here, the formula said you have the sum of x and then squared it. Okay, well the sum of x was 28, so we're going to have to square that. Okay, on bottom, n minus 1 is 4 minus 1. Okay, so when you take 28, you get this 784 number. Okay, next you take the 784 and divide by 4, and that's the 196. Okay, subtract on top and then divide. And that's called the sample variance S squared. The sample standard deviation is S, and you just take the square root of the variance. Okay, another variance formula for a sample, you take each number and subtract the mean. Okay, the mean is 7 if you add up all those numbers and divide. Okay, so our first number was 3, so we're going to subtract 7. Our next number was 5, subtract 7. Next was 8, subtract 7. Next was 12, subtract 7. Okay, 8 minus 7 and 12 minus 7. Okay, you do those subtractions. Okay, the reason there's pluses in between this is because this means to add. Okay, remember the order of operations says do what's in the parentheses first. So we do those subtractions. 3 minus 7 is minus 4. 5 minus 7 minus 2. 8 minus 7 equals 1. And 12 minus 7 equals 5. After you do the parentheses, you do the exponents. So we're going to do each number times itself. So -4 times -4 is positive 16. -2 times -2 is positive 4. 1 times 1 and 5 times 5. Add and then divide. Okay? And you'll see this is the same example, just another way to work it. You get the same answer either way. Okay? Now the population variance, instead of dividing by n minus 1, you divide by n. And the standard deviation is still the square root. Okay? A box and whisker plot, or also a box plot, is a 5-number summary. Okay? The number that's on the far left is the minimum, the smallest. The next number is the first quartile. Okay? And that is going to be the left end of the box. The line down the middle of the box is the median. The right side of the box is Q3, the third quartile. And the far right thing is the maximum. Okay? And the IQR, the interquartile range, you take Q3 and subtract Q1. Okay? Q1 is the middle of the first half of the numbers. Q3 is the middle of the second half of the numbers. If you have an even number of numbers, you have to average middle. Okay, so let's say you had 4 numbers, 1, 3, 6, 8. So the median of those numbers, you would have to, the middle of those numbers, you would have to average 3 and 6, which means add them and divide. Okay, if you see Use Salt and WebAssign as a calculation tool, when you click it, it automatically transfers the numbers to like this data calculation thing that's kind of like Excel. If you click Descriptive Statistics tab up at the top, it will do the mean, median, mode, Q1, Q3. It will do all of that, okay? So all you have to do is click Use Salt and Descriptive Statistics, okay, for this module. Okay, that's the end.